The Trump administration was handed a partial victory Monday when a federal judge tossed out part of a lawsuit brought by immigrant advocates over the legal rights of those being held at the Florida facility known as Alligator Alcatraz. The Trump appointed judge dismissed the claim that the federal government is blocking access to legal representation. However, several other challenges are still pending. Eunice Cho joins me now. She is the lead counsel in this lawsuit for the American Civil Liberties Union. Thanks so much for being with us. Tell us just as simply as you can why the ACLU decided to file a lawsuit over Alligator Alcatraz and what's being alleged here.
Well, great to be here. Well, we brought the lawsuit at Alligator Alcatraz because what's happening at this facility is unprecedented and not normal. The government has been in such a rush to build and detain people at the facility that it has been running roughshod over the most basic of constitutional rights. People have not been able to speak confidentially with their attorneys. They've not had a place to actually file for requests for release on bond. These are basic constitutional rights that anybody has when they're in government custody, and Alligator Alcatraz simply not providing that to people who are held there.
And so, what is your reaction to the judge dismissing part of the ACLU's lawsuit over Alligator Alcatraz? Are you disappointed?
No, actually, this is an important victory for us. The reason that the judge granted the government's motion to dismiss is because this lawsuit, the federal government actually decided to reverse course and admitted that it had to provide immigrants who are held at the facility with access to immigration courts. And so, since we filed the lawsuit, they have reversed course, and they are now allowing people who are held at Alligator Alcatraz the ability to petition the immigration court for release from detention, which the government should have never done in the first place. It shouldn't take a lawsuit to force the government to abide by the law and the Constitution, and that is what it took to get them to this point.
The judge also ordered for this case to be transferred for a different federal court. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, the court's order transferred our case to the federal court in the Middle District of Florida, which is closer to where the facility is located. And that court will now issue a decision regarding detainees' rights to access counsel. So we look forward to continuing the fight, and the fight will continue.
And what is the status of some of the immigrants who are currently being detained at Alligator Alcatraz? Have you had any access to them? Have you been able to talk with them? And how are they doing?
Well, we have talked with some people who are held in detention at Alligator Alcatraz, and the stories that we have hearing are alarming. People are reporting horrific conditions in which they're being held. There is apparently an infectious disease outbreak taking place at the facility. People have been taken to the emergency room as a result after not getting care from the officers at the facility. We've heard of many, many disturbing stories of officers going around the facility, pressuring people to sign voluntary removal orders without the opportunity to speak to counsel. And, in one heartbreaking story, this happened to a detainee who had an intellectual disability. Officers told him he had to sign a piece of paper to get a blanket. It was really a voluntary removal order, and he was deported shortly after. These are the kinds of stories that we're hearing out of people who are at Alligator Alcatraz, and these are, permanent and very long-term effects on both people and their families.
I mean, in your view, would anything short of shuttering Alligator Alcatraz be considered a victory in this case?
Well, I think anytime that we hold the government accountable to abide by the Constitution, that is an important victory. Of course, we really worry about the people who are held in detention at Alligator Alcatraz and are doing everything we can to support them and their families as they go through this process.
All right, Eunice Cho, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.